Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone else in between, welcome back to the 45th episode of the 42 podcast. And to be honest, I'm going to be really happy we're out of the 40s because it's really redundant in the opening. But as always, to my left, your good friend and mine, Mr. Ryan. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm great, Jacob. How are you, man? What's up?
I can't complain. It's just kind of a day, packed and that kind of crap.
I've been having a shitty week, dude. God damn it.
What's going on, man?
Just inspections at work, trying to get through them. And if anybody that ever works in the construction field has worked with an elevator guy, they know my pain. Elevator guys, man, they're just so, it seems to me that elevators, period, across the board, are union. You're not going to get a non-union elevator guy, which may not seem like a big deal up north, but down here where I'm used to, there's no unions, period, at all. And it's really weird for me to come across that union mindset of that ain't my job. It ain't my job. And they do it so fucking well, it's infuriating. It's so fucking mad because the way I'm used to working is you kind of scratch each other's backs a little bit. You know what I mean? Like the other trades kind of look out for the other trades and they kind of work together. If there's an issue and there's a gray area for the demarcation of something from the responsibility of them to me, right?
Right.
There's a gray area there. It's like, well, you can buy that relay and I can buy that relay. So whose responsibility is it to buy that relay? Like, I understand you can't buy anything on the other side of the relay. That's all me. And I can't work on anything on that side of the relay. That's all you. But we both can put in that relay. So who's going to do it? And how are you going to do it?
And I'm sure you see a lot of you see a lot of the same guys over and over. So you're like, hey, I got you last time, so you get us this time, that kind of deal.
A little bit. There's too many. I mean, Houston's so big.
Yeah, that's true.
It's you have to be working in more of a niche. Like, I see a lot of the same sprinkler guys. And a lot of the guys that put hoods in kitchens, those big vents that suck up, and they have
industrial kind of kitchens.
Yeah, I work with them all the time. But even then, it's like, I'll do 30 jobs and I'll see the same guy twice. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's not even that normal.
Right, okay.
But yeah. No, it's just, and then the elevator guys, so if there's an issue like that with the electrician, I can usually talk to the electrician and they'll talk back and they kind of, with the elevator guy, he goes, I don't know. That right there, that's where it stops. You need to do this for me. I don't really care how or what you do. That's not, I don't even care, man. And it's just, but I do it in a nicer way than they do it. They do it in like that ain't my job, dude. I don't give a fuck. All right? You figure it out. Call me when it's done. That kind of. It's like, all right, that's what I'll do. I'll call you when I'm done. Fucking asshole.
We've started watching this show called Superstore. It's NBC, I think, and obviously it's making fun of like a Walmart or a Target. The manager is going through like the manager handbook, and it's like what to do if you hear a union, what to do if you think you might have heard union, what to do if you think you might have heard you thought you heard union, what to do if someone accidentally said union.
Right. I guess Walmart would lose their shit if the workers unionized.
Oh, they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, it'd be over.
That's why they pumped they could afford the pay bump, but they can't afford a union.
So, are you excited for this weekend?
Yes.
Yes. The Conor McGregor fights this weekend.
Oh, yes. I don't watch UFC.
Oh, you don't at all?
Not
really.
Even
not even the big fights?
I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. But I'm not gonna go get the pay-per-view. And like if I had friends that were into it, I'd probably watch it more, but I don't really get into it that much. So,
well, you should go eat dinner at one of your favorite bars that has that stuff on. You should go watch it. It's gonna be an awesome fight.
Which means it'll end up being done in like 45 seconds. So it's gonna get like one good kickoff and it's gonna be over.
Funny you say that. The guy who's fighting won the belt in his weight division in his last fight in 13 seconds.
Damn.
Yeah, the guy throws a kind of like a fake jab, and McGregor just pushes it down with his hand and comes over the top and just knocks him out.
Just knocks him out.
Just
Clean out.
Unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. You're like, and it was against the reigning world champion.
I mean,
he was the best before that. And you just knocked him out in 13 seconds. That really says something.
I mean, sometimes you just make that one mistake, Especially at the UFC, man. Like, the angles are so much different because of how the fighting is compared to, like, boxing.
It's true. But McGregor took him out with pretty clean boxing. Like, it was just pretty... That's the thing that everybody's been saying for years, is that we need a real boxer in here. Even though McGregor's not a true boxer, he's like more of a mixed martial artist. But his boxing is world. He probably could go fight in the boxing ring and do well. He's that good at boxing. And they don't wear boxing gloves.
Right.
They wear those little MMA gloves, which are just good enough to protect your knuckles, but not really add any padding. So it's like the damage of bare knuckle without any of the repercussions. Mm-hmm. See, there's an argument for not letting the fighters wear gloves at all. Right? It gives the guys, the grapplers, the guys who want to reach in and grab and like put on chokes and do different things like that. It gives them a lot more. It's a closer representation of combat, right? Because right now they can't really work with. They got like mittens on,
right?
Compared to like hands, where they could actually grab and interlace fingers and do different things, right? And then it's also not representation of the repercussions of getting hit. Or, I mean, hitting something improperly with bare knuckles.
Right.
If I hit you if you get hit right in the forehead, like if I swing and you just kind of duck your head, I'm doing more damage to myself than I did to you.
Right.
You've got a strong, cranial plate right there. Like,
if you're not, I mean, unless you're trained and you just like haul off and hit somebody, you're probably breaking your hand.
Probably gonna break your hand. Yeah. Even if you are trained, those people break their hands almost every fight. Like one person at least breaks a hand. They're weak little bones in there. It's not easy. But so there's an argument to actually not wear gloves at all. It'd be a closer representation of real combat, and people wouldn't be able to just swing like Tyson. They wouldn't be able to just throw punches into the head area and make them land. It would be a more, there's an argument about cuts. Knuckles cut like elbows, and wearing the gloves, they don't cut as bad. But you also take away the eye pokes, because the way the gloves work is they kind of hold your hands open. They don't. It's an effort to close your hands. So when you get tired, you're just putting your hands in the way, or in somebody's face, you poke them in the eye just because you didn't close your hand. So I see the argument both ways. I'd personally like to see a little bit of a loosening on the rules of the UFC. It's like, well, they are beating the fuck out of each other. Like, why are we worried about them hurting each other? They're hurting each other already. It's like, let's make this a little bit more closer to like real life. Let's make this
because you don't want to damage your product too terribly. And
That's
for
true.
the UFC, the people in the ring are the product.
I do think, though, in my highly scientific opinion, I really do believe that there'd be less concussions with no gloves, though.
Oh yes, I mean, but that's that's been proven. That's why boxers. I mean, because with those 11-ounce gloves, they can just go to town. I mean, they can hit as hard as they want, and they're not going to hurt themselves at all.
And there's also there's a distribution of the actual strike against the head. So they don't knock out as often. It's a lot harder to knock out wearing an 11-ounce glove, but you're taking the same amount of force over and over and over. Your head's just bouncing, but it's not really getting hit in those certain areas where the nerves get shut off and you actually go to sleep. So they're putting people to sleep by actual brain trauma.
Right.
Where the brain's just bounced around enough where it's just like, fuck this, and it just goes to sleep. Whereas McGregor, he knocked out Jose Aldo with a punch directly to the left chin. So it moves the chin in a certain way, and you got that nerve that runs down to your tongue and all those, right here to your teeth. It goes right through the hinge. It's a bad design. That hinge clicks just a little bit, and it shuts that nerve off, and the brain's like, well, fuck this. And you just go to sleep. You cannot help it. It's like a true liver shot. Your body just shuts down. It's just a natural biological reaction to such strikes.
Right.
And, so it's different. I don't know. I think you'd get less concussions.
Right. Well, there's that argument that if you were to take off helmets from football players, it'd be less concussions because they can't lead with their head,
Right, the NFL. Yeah, there's a good argument for that, too. But then again, it's just sports. Like, what the fuck? Sports. Like, why are we even... We should be more worried about like teacher awards and spelling bees.
I know, but I saw this really interesting Twitch presentation from Sir Action Slacks. He's a big Dota guy. Hilarious. Like he just makes like funny Dota videos and stuff. He's pretty good, but he's talking about how there's a proven link that when the prize pool for a competition gets above $1 million, people will watch no matter what it is.
Oh, right. Like if it was the world championship of checkers, but it was for $1 million,
Some people would watch.
Scrabble or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hadn't heard that before, but it's a really interesting thing. So it's like now that esports prizes are starting to get million, 2 million, 5 million, more and more people are watching because hey, there's these guys doing this thing that I've never seen before, but it's for a lot of money, so it must be a real
important.
Yeah, it must be real.
So that begs the question: that's potentially leads into a snowball effect, right? So you finally make $1 million, you do a tournament, a lot of people watch, you have enough capital to do another tournament for another $1 million, but this time you have all of this proof, like look how popular we were. So you sell all this ad revenue and make way more your money back. The next tournament's worth $5 million. Way more people watch because the prize pool's gotten even larger. I mean, is there a potential for if with proper management you could snowball that and really?
I mean, that's what Valve has done with the international, especially.
I heard, man, there's a lot of controversy over that one this year.
Oh
huh?
no, that's the Shanghai Major that's going on right now.
God, what's going on? Can you tune us in? I know you're kind of a Dota guy.
I am. We're still in the house buying process, so I've played like 2 Dota games in the last month. If for anyone who's listening to this podcast, it's a severe drop off from where I have been the last year or so. But they apparently Gabe, the
Godfather,
Gabe Newell. Is that? Yeah, that's his name. That's his name.
The archangel of video gaming.
Yeah, so he apparently didn't he watched one day or something of the production of the qualifiers for the Shanghai Major and fired the production team on the first day. So they having to scramble and get everything going and get a new production team in, and apparently it just wasn't very good. The thing is,
so what? Who's in the right there? Should they have left the team in until after the major and just let them do miserably, or should Gabe stand up and be like, "Look, we're not going to stand for this. It was a shitty product, but
well, I mean,
I respect a guy who can pull the trigger.
Right?
Fuck it, this is wrong. It's like, oh, I love somebody who can just crash a party and go, "That's my responsibility. I'm bad. I didn't put that. I didn't do that report. I didn't sign that piece of paper. I didn't. I like people who can take responsibility for shit."
Let's see I'm trying. So the prize pool is $3 million US, and that is a lot of that is fronted by Valve.
Yeah. Okay.
So
sure.
I mean, so they have a lot of money on the line. They've been putting a lot of money in. The last 2. So in August was the international, and that was impeccably done. It was one of those times where you watch it and you go, "Yep, this could be a real sport."
Really?
The guys were on top. I mean, there was still some nebulous stuff with the whole, actually what Dota is, but the quality of it. I mean, it was crystal clear, streaming HD. It was really well done. All the commentators are really professional about it. Still had fun, but they were pros. And then it got even better for the next major in Frankfurt. And so I think he saw one day of it and said, "Nope, we can't go backwards." So he just fired him.
Okay, well, I guess I'm in. I'm on Gabe's side. I mean, I'm sorry that the major was ruined for everybody that had some stake or were really looking forward to it, but
I think the only people... No, I mean, they're still streaming it and broadcasting it and producing it. They're just... another team is doing it. So the only people who really lost out was the bad production team. And apparently they had a rough couple of days, but they got everything smoothed out, and apparently it's going really well now.
Oh, well, then I don't understand the controversy then.
I'm not entirely sure either. Apparently Gabe said some bad things about the guy, the main guy, called him some names or something, but I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been on top of it, but I think people just like controversy for controversy's sake.
Well, I sense this has become kind of a little mini series for everybody who's been listening to the podcast. House talk.
Uh,
All right. How's it going? What's going on?
um,
Who are we mad at today?
Actually, it's all pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually
This is the calm before the storm, y'all. Tune in next week for the conclusion of.
well, we're starting to get into that. Well, we did the inspection, and everything came out pretty good for this
Okay,
the
good.
new house.
Good.
We're
Not falling apart, you mean?
right. The loans were tentatively approved for the loan. The appraisal has happened. The only real issue is the radon is a little high. So, like, what's considered above a normal threshold is a 4.0. I don't know what that 4.0 stands for. I just know it's a 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
And it came into a 4.1, which we're told that once it warms up, it'll drop below normal levels. It's just one of those things, with an older home. And if they're going to pay to do a year-long study, and so we'll actually be able to see, what it is over the year.
Radon?
Radon.
Radon. Sounds radioactive.
Yeah, I think it is. But like every every building has some level of radon. But so, well, other than that, it's going pretty good. It's weird. I was joking with my wife today about our loan officers. Like, I have slept with people who knew less about me than this guy does. This guy's got 2 years worth of W-2s, 2 years worth of tax forms, 90 days worth of pay stubs,
90 days.
3 months of bank statements. So it's, yeah. No. But yeah, so it's a weird feeling knowing someone's looking at your bank statement that hard.
That is weird. Your credit, they're looking back at all the decisions you made, all the weird things you bought at sex stores or off Amazon that you didn't think nobody was ever going to look at. And you're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're never going to sell us a house. Don't even bother.
Hey, man, they don't care. As long as you can pay for it, they don't.
Yeah, that's right. Like, sex toy, paid. Awesome.
On credit and paid on time. Done. But, like, the what's crazy to me is the income to debt ratios that you can have and still be eligible to buy homes is insane. You can have, like, 40% of your income be going to debt payments and still be eligible to buy a house. Like, how? And another thing they don't get is they use gross income and not net income. So they use your pre-tax, like if you have a 401k or whatever, they use that income instead of what you're actually bringing home. Because I lose a third of every paycheck to taxes and 401ks and everything else. So like my income looks a third higher than it actually is.
Wow. Well, I guess it's good for somebody like you who's willing to be responsible with your money.
Yeah.
It allows you to do a little bit more.
But, yeah. And the nice thing about I'm not going to have like crazy good internet, which is sad. I was hoping for it, but they won't give it to me. So I'm going to do Comcast, which, but it's better than it's better than nothing. Apparently, you can pay $30 and they'll give you unlimited data. So if that's the case, I'm just gonna be like, here, take my $30 a month. It's worth it.
What are you gonna get then? How fast will it be?
150 down and 20 up.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. But I've been spoiled for the last year and a half.
That's true. I have that same thing you have right now, or that you're going to get, and I think Comcast is afraid of Google because I pay for 150, and I've even, like on service calls, I've called to them on service. If I do a speed test, they're like, what's your speed test right now? I was like, 181. Like, I was like, I didn't want him to turn it down. I was like, 181. He's like, yeah, there you go. You're doing okay then. I was like, well, yeah, but. So, I mean, I'm only paying for 150, but I'm getting 180 down. It's like, damn, that's a lot.
Right, but it's sort of that number is an average.
I know.
So you're actually probably really close to a switch. Like
Probably.
wherever, goes from copper to fiber, you're probably really close to that.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be really close to that in my new house.
That's cool. So you might even
300 feet. There's
you
a
might get-
fiber line 300 feet from my house. I'm like, I wonder if they would notice if I just clipped it to it.
Yes.
Probably if I cut into that cable, it'd take down half the eastern seaboard, probably.
My uncle. So you know how you call 811 or whatever it is to have them come out and mark your land before you dig? He was the foreman on a job site in Tomball, and they came out and did it, and they missed a line. Well, this is the story I knew when I was 11. I don't know if it's true or not, but anyway, they were digging with a traco, and ripped up the fiber optic line that went from through Tomball to I don't know L.A. or something stupid like that, or Dallas or Austin or something, and it shut down all communication, all of it. It was $100,000 a minute or something while it was down.
Well, that's why there's lots of them now.
You know that.
One.
Oh yeah, this was wow, this was literally 19 years ago. Yeah, 19 years ago when he did it. But you remember that scene in E.T. when they know that E.T.'s there and all the people in the white suits and the plastic shit ascend?
Right.
And there's all these trucks, and that's what they did, dude. Holy shit, the whole job site gets shut down. People are yelling. Lots of people are yelling. And there's people that show up with these white tents and make these clean rooms and these sections where you had to go from one thing to another, and they're all wearing these white suits and shit, and they're in there putting that shit back together.
So yeah, I mean, it's light. Any little bit of dirt's going to screw it up.
Any little bit of dirt. Have you seen those GIFs or those internet videos where they they show you a big piece of fiber optic with a little bitty laser, and then they shine it in and it goes through, and then they move the angle of the laser and it hits and it does the bounce down? I was like, wow, that's really cool shit. That's really cool shit.
Yeah,
it's cool when you can actually visualize stuff, For me, anyway.
I learned all sorts of stuff about fiber optic lines. How there's there's dark fiber and light fiber and long distance and short distance.
And they use new pulse technologies and wave different waves and stuff, and I think they can send color down it now, and because of that they can split the information along the color bands and stuff. So all of these fiber optics lines we ran are kind of useless now.
Yeah,
it's because they're only using one of the fibers through it, and it'll be a whole bundle of fiber. I guess we're good for the next 100 years though.
I get some part intellectually of me kind of gets how it works, right? But the other part of me is that's just magic. Oh, I've read the signs. I get it. That's just no. But in practicality, who's the guy who's hey, you know what? See this flashlight? We're gonna send data with it. Yeah,
it's just pulses of light or reading information of the wave. You know what blows me away the most though? Is I have an i7. I got one of those badass i7s in this computer.
Right.
And if I ever go check the processing, it's I really overbought. I never get it above 18, 22%. I'll have everything open on all my screens. It's just
trying to 1,000 Chrome tabs.
It just doesn't care. It just doesn't care. And it's just that's magic to me. That little bitty thing opens and closes that many gates. Because I mean, you really have to think about what a computer chip is. It's just these little bitty contact relays in there that are opened or closed. They're little gateways and paths, and they send information, and that pulses of information somehow get fucking magic, and then you get shit out of it. You get information. It's what the actual fuck? Because when you really think about it, all you can do is an open and close. You can do you can add resistors so you can send things and it slows down, and the other paths get there first and open and close things, right? But you're really just essentially working with open and closes.
Ons and offs.
Ons and offs. And they translate ons and offs all the way to this conversation, all the way to your smartphone, all the way to the all of human information ever in the palm of your hand at all times with ons and offs. What the fuck? Actually, like, that's just mind-boggling that can happen. That's magic to me.
Yeah. How there's any sufficiently advanced technology is perceived as magic.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was talking. We were talking about sci-fi last time. I gave that stuff a little bit more thought, like sci-fi in the future, like what would Star Trek sci-fi look like?
Mm-hmm.
It has to be some type of technology that it's utilizing, like magical levels of
amazingness.
Yeah, right? I mean, I guess. But I guess a phaser is kind of a wand that shoots fire. Like a phaser is a blasting rod, right? Essentially?
Essentially, yeah.
I mean, it really kind of is. I don't know. It's just... That was an interesting question, and I really gave it some thought after we talked about it, because I couldn't, that's a big question. It's like I really couldn't come up with anything that was other than, like, metaphysical stuff. Like, where they start breaking down why. And they start messing around with those rules.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too. I was thinking, like, maybe it'll be where they go deeper than just splitting the atom. They start splitting quarks.
Ooh. But they already, like, Star Trek's already got antimatter and matter, like, propulsion and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I heard an interesting, like, a really sobering fact. You know that Deep Space Hubble experiment they did where they had a Hubble look at the darkest part of the sky for, like, 4 months straight, and they took a picture?
Right.
And the picture's, like, 200 galaxies or something, 13.8 billion years away, right? They said if you got in a spaceship, if you got in the USS Enterprise, right, and you could do 9.6, it would take you like 3 billion years to get there or something stupid. It's like, wow. Or like 300 million or something. It was like a number that was just unfathomable. Like, even at 9 times the speed of light, it takes you too long.
Too long.
Damn it. It was a sobering fact. I mean, I always knew it, but when they were just talking about it, they're just, as facts go, they're like, think about it, that the whole Star Trek experience, the whole Star Trek universe happens in one section of one galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, unless you count Voyager, but,
That still doesn't really, I mean...
Right. But, like, all of TNG, DS9, and, well, besides the wormhole parts, and TOS all happen inside the 1/4 of the Milky Way.
1/4 of the galaxy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's just sobering. Yeah. It's so big, it's humbling. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, the only way we're going to get to another galaxy is wormholes. That's it.
The folding of space.
Right.
They think we might be able to just bend space all the way to each other.
Well, that's essentially what a wormhole is.
What? What the fuck are y'all talking about, you
Shut up,
crazy bastards?
Oh, so I saw something cool. Well, kind of cool today. At least it's cool for me. My first piece of software that had an Oculus Rift button.
Nice.
Yeah.
That shit's real. It's happening. It's happening. Oh, I downloaded the Steam. This is humble brags, but I downloaded the Steam VR ready test.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the good. I'm clear. Let's just put it that way.
I'll have to do that.
I ran. My average frame rate was like 118 or something. So I'm like, well, they want at least above 90, but the higher it is, like at 120, the experience is way better than at 90. Like way better.
Right.
If you got like a 980 Ti, you can get like 160. Yeah,
I was reading this story about how they've ported Minecraft to Oculus, which is going to be the killer app, right?
So sexy. So sexy. That would be so much fun.
This guy was like, it's really fun, but it's really hard for your brain to handle because it's never seen anything like this before. Even in the low-res graphics, there are too many things going in different directions that your brain is like you've never seen going in that many different directions at one time in the air and underneath you, and it's hard to handle.
Blake did it. He was up there at one of those like Comic-Con kind of things here in Texas, and they had an Oculus Rift thing going on, and they had some really cool game you could play. But then around the corner, they had this really shitty game you could play, and nobody was in line for it. And Blake's like, well, I just want to put the helmet on. I just want to look around, so let me do this one. He goes, dude, I don't know why the fucking line wasn't at the door for that game. He goes, even as gay as it was, he goes, I was only in it for like 3 minutes, and when I took my head off, it was like, he goes, because you feel weird for a second. You're just like, it takes you a minute to even kind of come back after 3 minutes. You're like, wow, this is how your brain's like, how was I just somewhere? You know, there's just a slight confusion, he said. He's like, you know, not really confused, but there's just that pressure of confusion. Like, what? This is strange. He goes, dude, it was real life. He goes, it was so strange. He goes, the graphics, you could look at it and you're like, wow, those graphics are shitty. This world is low res. He goes, but there was no part of your brain that was like, this isn't a real world, though. Like, it might be a low-res world, but we're in it. Hell, holy shit. He goes, man, shit's way more intense. You race in the car, and you look beside you, and the noise, and the car's right there, and he's like, your heart just races, and your palms sweat, and he's like, dude, you get into it. Like, no problem, really into it. He goes, the only thing that's really confusing is when people outside the world talk to you, and you try to look at them, because you're used to being able to play video games and look away, and then you just look in the world, and your mind's like, I can't figure this out, you know. It's just like, because it's going to be an issue, man. Because I'm not sure this is actually, you're going to read stories about people like causing psychosis and different shit over this stuff. It's going to be really,
people are going to go in and never come out, man.
Did you see the videos of that company that took Oculus to the porn convention in Vegas? And people were putting it on. Not a single person took that thing off and didn't go, holy shit, dude. What a game changer. It's like, yeah. Wow, what a game changer. That's going to be crazy. We're going, man, it's here, dude. The Oasis is coming.
Yeah, I mean, I got to do an Oculus demo about 2 years ago. So, like, on the original,
the bad one, right?
The bad one, yeah. And it was something else.
Even
then, it was something. It wasn't, from what I can tell, it wasn't, I was probably only in for about a minute. And it was also a demo, so I was just like looking around and watching things going. But I mean, it was intense.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
But from what I can tell from like the second version, the one that's out now, or is it version 3 that's out now? Like the consumer version.
Consumer version is coming out. It releases in April. But if you pre-ordered it now, you probably wouldn't get it until the end of July.
Right, but is it
it's the done one. It's the one that
right. But I'm just trying to think which real iteration they're on.
Third, the DK.
Okay.
You could buy the DK1. Well, I guess the DK1 would be the second iteration because they built like the prototype. Mm-hmm. We could buy the DK1. We could buy the DK2. Now they're giving us Oculus.
See, I would have been on DK1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was unreal.
It looked like you were looking through a screen door and kind of, you know, but now it's. He was like, dude, it's really, really amazing. Really amazing. He was raving. He just talked about it for a long time. It's like, oh, I got to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted the Vive, but did you see how much they want for that bastard?
Was it like $700 or something?
$799.
Oof. Screw that.
But it's also the Oasis. It's literally the Oasis. You're going to be able to, like, set up. I could just, it's so hard to think about. You could just take everything out of a room, put them in the different corners, and set the lighthouses up. And then you have a holodeck, motherfucker. A fucking holodeck. You can walk around objects. Like, actually with your feet walk. That's worth $800 if you have it. I mean, a lot of people don't have it, but it's worth it. It's not like that's overpriced. They're offering a lot. Man, I want that so bad. But I want lots of things so bad.
I know. There are lots of things I want so bad. But all I really want is to get rid of my student loan debt.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, not really, because I don't have any, but I've heard people talk about it a lot.
Oh, there's a comedian who's talking about his mortgage. Like, one of his friends asked if he wanted to do acid. He's like, no, man, I don't need my mortgage coming to life and trying to kill me. It's like, I know how that's going to feel.
Yeah. I think it'll feel good. I feel way better about spending $1,200 a month to live somewhere if I knew that $1,200 was still mine. It's still yours.
The nice thing about, well, besides the interest and taxes and stuff,
Right,
property taxes rolled in, but
still,
because of where this house is, it's out of Allegheny County, so the taxes are a lot cheaper.
nice.
So the house is actually $300 less a month than the original house we were gonna buy.
That's good.
We're paying like $800 a month for this house, almost 2,000 square feet, finished finished attic. I've already
That's
started.
awesome. Is the attic going to be the podcast?
No, well, there's heat and stuff down in the basement, so I'm actually going to build like a shell and like create a booth for me.
You want to know a good material for that? The insulation you put in freezers, like if you're going to build a walk-in freezer, it's an inch wide styrofoam covered in aluminum foil on both sides. You can buy a sheet, like a 4x8 sheet for like $20. You could buy a couple of those and then put it up. It's really easy. You just use some industrial grade duct tape on each side and, kind of like settle it in and just use a little bit of engineering. It helps with it. They're really quiet. They're really cool. You can put it around the vents or pipe in take half the vents and pipe it in with like a dryer vent. Those metal, just duct tape that to the vent and duct tape it into your, and put an exit fan of some sort. And then glue your soundproof material to it. That's what I was going to do eventually at some point, maybe do that. They build yurks or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but like people who are hardcore campers, they'll build you take a bunch of sheets in like a hexagon shape, and then you cut some triangles where they lay. You just use some basic geometry and engineering, and then duct tape it all together. And you can build like semi-permanent structures in an afternoon that can hold 12, 20 people or however you want, however many you want. And then because of the freedom of the design, you just use basic TP designs that people have already come up with all over the place. So there's a lot of and you can build these really cool houses like out in the desert, and in Colorado they do this stuff.
What I was thinking about doing, I was actually gonna like at least frame it a little bit and put some paneling up so it actually looks a little bit like a room and not just a thing in the basement.
That's kind of cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah, the way I've been looking at doing it is probably about $150 for a fully, or not fully, but mostly soundproof little podcast cave. Probably have to run like an extra line down with an extra router, just just depending on where the router is compared to the the computers. Maybe just run a hardwire and just jack into it that way.
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of hardwiring in my main rig. Yeah,
well, our main rig is always going to be, as long as we can, hardwired, but it's also going to be right by the TV.
It's really strange that you consider your TV, your family computer, your main rig.
Well,
like, wouldn't you want like your rig, like in your own little room with your headphones and your like video, just getting your game on, man? Just like, I guess you like being around each other more than that.
Yeah, and Kelly plays more newer games than I do, so it's good for her, and she likes to play them because she grew up on consoles,
right?
So she's much more a console gamer, and she's one of those people where she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna knit, and you should play Dota, and I'll watch you." I'm like, okay, so I'll just get on my headset and hook up into the main rig and play Dota, and she'll knit, and we'll hang out, and she'll tell me I'm terrible at times, and it'll be good. Speaking of, what do you think about the whole Xbox move, like merging the platforms?
If they can pull it off, I am all about it. I think that'd be really cool.
So, do you think they're really going to get rid of the exclusives? Like, basically, like, if the new Halo is going to be Xbox One and PC?
If you like money. What the fuck, right? I am not going to buy your Xbox One. It's a piece of shit. It can barely handle today's graphics today. It won't be able to... I'll be stuck with these graphics in 4 years. You want me to handle these graphics for 7 years. Do you know what my computer will look like in 7 years?
Completely different.
Completely. It won't even be the same thing. And I can't play Halo? Because I'm not going to buy your shitty Xbox for $400. It's way too much. It's a whole nother graphics card, you assholes. Right? But I would buy Halo. Halo would be the shit on the PC. Like, even if I have to play with an Xbox One controller hooked up to the PC. Okay. If
I
that's
play a lot of games with the Xbox, with my 360.
I would too, but I mean, if that's the barrier to entry, so we all play on a level playing field when we go into multiplayer, okay. Because then you can leave auto aim on and stuff, and you can make things just work a lot better. Can cross-platform a whole lot easier. You just essentially make them both PCs. And
okay, so here's a question for you: what would you pay for a Xbox One drive?
That I can put into my computer?
Yeah, you could just put it into your SATA. Not your SATA.
I would pay for
like, would you pay like $150 for an Xbox One drive that you could just put Xbox One games in?
Yes, if they could make it. Yeah, that would be the SATA. Yeah, it would go into the SATA. That's where your DVD drive goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it'd be that kind of drive. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, absolutely, sure, 100%. I might even pay $200 for that, maybe. Depending on how bad my kid wanted it. Because there's a lot of games that he wishes he had. He likes the Xbox better than I do. But it's just like, I'm not buying the Xbox for you. But I really do think it'd be awesome if I could buy a drive and play Call of Duty. And not play the PC Call of Duty. But play the actual Call of Duty it's way more geared toward gamers. I mean, consoles. Mm-hmm. If I had some type of drive that had like the chipset from... I don't even know how they would do that. But if they did do that, I'd be all the way on board.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna, because they were talking about going to universal apps.
I know, and across their whole system,
which is huge.
They mean it, not just like from their. I thought they meant like their phones, their pads, and their computers, but no, they mean their servers. They mean everything.
See, the Xbox was always the question mark because they've been talking universal apps for 3 or 4 years now, a long time. And me and my friend, he's also a big Windows fan, even though we both have Androids. We're just like, I wonder if they'll do it with the Xbox. And they kind of teased it with like apps that weren't the games. Like you could build like a media app that was universal, but not like a game. But now you can.
I think it's a strong move, and I also heard that the guy running the Xbox media or whatever, he had an interview and he was saying that he doesn't understand why a modular console wouldn't work. He's like, he goes, this could be the last console that we sell. He goes, we could be selling modular consoles from now on, where you're just simply upgrading. There's no way we can keep up with PCs if we don't sell the ability to upgrade the systems. You're going to need to be able to take out the graphics card of your Xbox and put a new one in if you want to play PC level graphics. Like, there's no other way we can do it. Right. And I don't understand why we couldn't do that. He's like, we sell them a shell and then you just always build something that fits in that shell.
Right. Well, the answer is for a long time, most people didn't want to deal with it. They wanted to click a button, put in a disc, and go.
That's still that'll still be an issue that I didn't even, because to me, I built a computer, so I don't mind. Because, I mean, I assume that an Xbox would be super easy. It's like you push it in and it goes, and it like slicks out like the LG phone would, right? And you just you slide the whole thing out and then you slide the new one in. So I'd really comfortable with that. But I could understand my neighbor who likes to shoot zombies but doesn't even have a fucking clue how anything works. He's like, I put that disc in, I turned it on, and I just turn it on and I turn it off. That's all I do. It's like, oh yeah, that could make sense. You sure you don't want to fix yours up. That would make sense. But I mean, they make like that new Far Cry. It'll run on a piece of shit computer that's way less powerful than the Xbox One. It looks like crap, but you can do it. Like they could also do that, where just the graphic settings and the processing power just keeps getting turned down for the older generation. And then eventually it phases out. You can't. That old chipset doesn't. Well, how would they do? Yeah, there is a lot of issues there, right? You got to figure a lot of things out to do it that way.
Right. I mean, eventually you would have to get people to upgrade, at least something. But people are used to upgrading now. I mean, we're used to getting new TVs every couple of years, new phones, and so this way you just be like. You call the Geek Squad and say, hey, my Xbox is telling me I need a new this, and this. How much is it going to cost? And since you're not buying an entire system, you're like, oh, $100. Or you have like a a subscription service that once a year in the mail you get the new graphics card and new chipset, and you just slide it in and send the new ones back to Microsoft.
They could also do it like a trunk club. They send you an empty box. You put your shit in, you send the box off, they send you a new one. You know, like
Right.
you could offer an upgrade service. For $30 a year, we'll upgrade your stuff plus the cost of the equipment.
Right. Well, I mean, if I were Microsoft, and I think they could get away with it for like $20 a month, and once a year, you either send your thing in, they send it back, or you just have them send it to you and you send their stuff back. You know, however you want to do it. I mean, that's actually probably the model they're going for.
I'm okay with that.
You know, and
I'm okay
Microsoft
with
being Microsoft and having everything else, they could have, you know, the $50 a month, right? Is every Microsoft service, period. Xbox, Office, you know, OneDrive, the whole kit and caboodle.
I love OneDrive.
It's nice.
OneDrive is cool.
It's nice having terabyte storage, yes. But I pay for that, so.
Yeah, I can understand.
Kind of.
I don't abuse it.
No. It's not
I
a
just
big-
download stuff out of it. It's like, ooh, I don't do that.
The
I'll
thing
just
is,
look in there and I'm like, ooh, I'll take that.
I could have like 4 different emails on it. Like it ends up being like 6 terabytes as cloud storage.
It's awesome.
But it comes with my Office subscription, which I can put on multiple PCs and stuff. So it's like up to 5 PCs of full Office plus a terabyte of cloud storage. Which and if you look on it, if you watch Amazon, you can always get it for like $70 for a year.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all, especially if you use Office, which I do, and I love Office. I love Microsoft. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit of a fanboy.
Yeah, I think so. I think a little bit. Which is really kind of strange because you were a fanboy of Apple there for a minute.
Yeah, well, I mean, for a while, I mean, it was the iPhone or nothing.
It was from the future.
It was from the future, yeah.
That first iPhone was from the future. It was from now.
It wasn't until about in my opinion, about the 3S or 4 that other companies really started to catch up. Even the 3G, like the first, like the one with the curved black back, like that one.
The first, yeah, I don't think the first Samsung phone that really cut it wasn't until you had the S5 or the Note 3.
That was only like 2 years ago.
Yeah, they weren't worth it until then. An iPhone was better.
Yeah.
But now I'd really argue with you that a Note 4 does not beat the new iPhone. Even a Note 4, which is an old Note, it's still better than the new iPhone. That Note 4 is a fucking awesome phone. I mean, I understand you might have some issues with Samsung's. You don't like the operating system, but golly, that phone itself is awesome. And it has the old style engineering in it like Apple used to have. It's like, I want to turn that off. I bet it's right here. Oh, look, the option to turn it off is right there. Look at that. I'll turn it off. That was what blew me away about the original iPhone.
Yes.
Everything
Yes.
made exact sense. I didn't have to struggle at all. It's like, well, I should turn the Wi-Fi off. Well, I bet it's right here. There it is. I'll be damned.
And that's something that's not as true about the new iPhones.
No.
Because I was playing with my wife. She's got a 6S, and it took me a little while to find something. I'm like, no, Apples are supposed to be idiot-proof.
Idiot-proof. Like, to the point where it was a luxury in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, truly idiot-proof. It's like, oh, well, I bet it's right here. I'll be damned. It's like, how do I move an icon? I bet I would just hold on to it and then I can move it. It just made sense. You know what I mean? Everything just made sense. Like, well, how do I get that to stop? I bet I would just click the home button. Of course. Why wouldn't I click that? You know what I mean? It just all made sense.
And I think that's what really helped fuel the rise of smartphones, which really fueled the rise of
absolutely.
the internet.
Absolutely.
Like, if you were to watch
100%.
like internet users and smartphone users, I guarantee they run in tandem with each other. That's what made Facebook what it was, because the iPhone came out at just the right time for Facebook.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was so weird. So, like, I graduated college in 2007, and not everyone no one had a smartphone, and only about half the people actually had cell phones.
That's hard to remember.
In 2009, everyone had a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
Less than a year, like a year and a half later, everyone had a smartphone on campus. It was super bizarre.
You were one of the first adapters, too.
I got mine 6 months after it came out.
I couldn't believe it. It was... I remember I remember that at my birthday in Dallas, I was like, this is from the future. This is alien shit. This is more proof of Roswell than a fucking transistor is. What the fuck? I remember it could put us within like 3 blocks of our location, and we thought we were... it was just like, I can't fucking believe it. I can't... This is unbelievable. We kind of know where we are.
Yes, it's so true.
It was using radio towers and Wi-Fi signals that Google Maps had, illegally scanned and shit. It was some old school shit, yo.
I don't want to derail us too far into politics, but I did hear like the one
Super Tuesday was yesterday. We got to talk about it a little bit.
Okay, but I did hear the one great reason why you would want Trump to be president. Because within 15 seconds of finding out about the aliens in Roswell, he's going to tell everybody. Like, okay, I can get behind that.
I'm in. Let's get this guy in then. I'm out. Okay, yeah, fine. Hey, man, he's better than Hillary.
Better than Hillary.
Yep. I saw that picture that's going around. It goes around every election, but it's going around on Facebook right now. The Cthulhu, where he's holding up his fingers and he's all got but he's wearing a suit. And it says, vote for Cthulhu. Why settle for the lesser of the evils?
Yeah. Yeah. Another one I see around is the sweet meteor of death, because he promises brings equality to everyone.
That's one of the things. You know how everybody's got these like really poetic or poignant. They'll do these little blurbs or tweets about Black Lives Matter, and
Yeah.
I've seen really articulate versions on both sides. Right? I've seen really articulate. But my favorite one that resonates the most with me is "No Lives Matter." The universe don't give a fuck about you. It's like, you know what? That's the actual truth. No lives actually matter.
No one cares.
I've run over squirrels and nothing happens. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a life. It's gone. And there are no consequences. The universe don't give a fuck about you. Don't give a fuck about whether you're black, Mexican, human, dolphin, spiders, bees. They don't give a fuck. Fuck it. Make it. Do it on your own. I don't give a shit. I got stars to blow up and black holes to make. You think you're important? I don't even think the universe can see in that resolution. It doesn't even... The only part of the universe that cares is us.
Right.
Yeah. Fucking no lives matter. You're all going to die and be forgotten in 500 years. Only the truly amazing once in a not even generation, but once in a whole... I don't even know what you would call it, but... there's like 5 or 6, 50, like, I don't know. How many people do we know? Well, I guess there's more than that, but there's not a lot that survive 500 years. Are we talking about anybody from 500 years ago that much?
I mean, you have to
be a prophet. You had to start a goddamn religion.
You have your, obviously religious figures. You have your great historical figures, Napoleon, Alexander. Well, no, Napoleon's not even Napoleon's not even 500 years old.
That's true.
That's a weird thought.
Like, what is Mongolian? Like, Mongolian like 500 years ago? Or I don't even know. It's not that good for me.
Chris Columbus, that was a thing. Shakespeare, Da
So we're talking
Vinci.
about the Crusades then?
When were the Crusades? Probably
talking
the
about-
newest you can get is about the Renaissance.
Right. But my point is you have to do something really fucking special. It doesn't really care about you.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
It just doesn't.
And that is just the history. Like, we don't actually care about that person anymore. Like, they're just a story. They're not real. They stopped being real generations ago.
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody makes an excellent movie. We haven't talked since the Oscars.
We have not talked since the Oscars.
Do you care?
No.
Leo won. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it was
It's like Peyton Manning winning the Super Bowl. It's like about time. God damn it, that'd be a real shame if you didn't.
You're right, but it felt like more like a lifetime achievement award type thing. Because there's a couple of times he should have won it.
Absolutely, more than once.
More than once.
Those times that he didn't win it, there is a good argument for the person who did.
Right.
He went up against some fucking killers.
Well, it's kind of like Denzel Washington. It took him 4, 5, 6 tries, kind of like Leo to get his.
Did you see that video of Leo? I didn't know this, but you get your Oscar, and then they go and engrave it. It's not like they had it engraved for you before you got it, so there's no way for anybody to know who won.
Right.
So there's this professional. He's been doing it for 50 years or whatever it is. Like this guy who like engraves, the Oscars. Mm-hmm. So Leo takes it down there and he goes, "So you do this every year or whatever?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, I've been doing it for like 25 years or whatever." And Leo goes, "Oh, that's cool. I wouldn't know." It's just like, that's kind of funny. Like he even like played into the joke. Like, oh, okay, he gets it too.
I love people who just like play into it.
Yeah, why not?
So Ricky Fowler, he's a golfer, 5th ranked in the world. And he was leading the tournament last weekend after 2 days, and then had a really bad 3rd day. And his name is spelled Rickie, but ESPN put it with a Y. Mm-hmm. So he took a picture of it and tweeted, "Is like, at least spell my name right if you're gonna make fun of me."
Like, who's this guy? What else we got to talk about, Jake? Anything interesting? Oh, we might have found signs of a civilization in another galaxy.
Yeah, too bad it'll take us 1 billion years to get there.
Or I don't even remember what the number is, but I think it's like 300 years to even respond or something stupid. Like at the speed of light, it's more than that. It's like 3,000 years to respond. But we are getting mathematical repeating radio waves in a distinguishable pattern that's repeating. And then it'll wait, and then it'll go, and it'll do another number, and then it'll do another number, and then it builds, and then it stops, and then it does it again. And we've had these radio waves come in before. There have been moments where we're like, wow, that's weird. But we've never had it repeat at the same place this many times. And people are really like, the people who are into it are kind of into it. It's kind of interesting.
Kind of freaking out a little bit.
It's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
I think it has ramifications on religion on such a profound way. I really do think if like we knew definitively that we're not alone, not that some amoeba exists in Jupiter's moon, who gives a fuck about that shit. I mean, it's cool, right? It's like, oh wow, I mean, life goes on. I saw Jurassic Park, I believe that. But our life finds a way or whatever, right? But if there's an intelligent with a parallel like intelligence to ours, where they have the idea of like, if we send a repeating prime numbers repeating and then send that repeat, you know what I mean? Like this specific, like, hey, we're doing this on purpose. This isn't an accident. This isn't an accident. This isn't an accident. It's just like, wow, like they're out there. Did Jesus go die for them? Why didn't God tell us about this? Like, I think it just really like changes things where you really got to have a conversation and explain that away, because that's a real.
Oh yeah, that's I've told people like that would be one of the few things that like completely shakes my faith to the core.
Oh yeah, like that would be really interesting. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a really, in a way, kind of creepy.
In a way, kind of creepy. I just had the worst idea though. It's like, because we've been beaming stuff into space for years because this is how things go. It's like they're probably picking up their sitcom from 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, probably. You know how everybody says that like the first broadcast we ever made was Hitler. It was the first thing powerful enough to get outside the solar system. Mm-hmm. That's true. But you know what they don't tell you about that interesting fact?
What's that?
Is by the time it gets anywhere where somebody could listen to it, it'll just blend in with the background radiation of the Big Bang. Like, it'll just sound like static. There will be no way to decipher that it was Hitler, like, on a radio. Like, it will just be so indistinguishable from all the other intermittent radio waves that it won't be there.
Right.
You have to do it the way they're doing it. A very strong signal at a repeating, to transmit information across the cosmos is nearly impossible.
Yes. So the question is, if it is nearly impossible, maybe they're wrong about how close they are?
Oh, yeah, who knows? I mean, their math is pretty sound on light. Like, they really do seem to have a pretty firm grasp on how light works. And because of that, they've, how humans are. We just like to keep breaking shit down farther and farther. And even still, our understanding of light, we can really figure some shit out with, like, the red and blue shifts of things. And the amount of light per whatever. Like, they seem to do a pretty good job, but I mean, yeah, the whole universe could just be like 400 miles wide and we just don't know it. You know what I mean? Like, it could be, like, it could move in a weird way, like, if you get out there, but who knows? I don't know. I mean, it's from our observable, like, very close observable where we can do experiments with spaceships and satellites and stuff, shit still seems to hold up pretty true. Like, the size of the universe does seem to be the size of the universe.
Right, yeah.
It is about 14 billion light years across, like, which isn't, well, the observable, like, that's the part that nobody seems to understand. That's the observable. That's because light hasn't had time past that point to exist. Light didn't exist before 14 billion years away, and since it can only travel at the speed of light, you can only see 14 billion years away. Like, that's it. Before that, you just see the ether that exists. And they have telescopes strong enough to look at that shit. That blows my fucking mind. That blows my fucking mind that they have telescopes that can look at, like, the background radiation of the Big Bang. They can look back in time all the way to the point, like, a few seconds after the shit happened. That is phenomenal to me. It's like, wow, humans, you're so crazy.
Good job. Good job.
You're gonna kill us all.
Oh, yeah. We're all going to die eventually. Probably.
On a long enough timeline.
On a long enough timeline.
Everyone's survival rate drops to 0.
Well, you want to get your recommends out of the way?
Oh, yeah. It's not that big a deal, but if you own a computer, which I assume you do, you're listening to this, or if you own an entertainment center with, Xboxes and shit, do yourself a favor and spend an afternoon and zip tie that shit up. Make that shit clean. Clean up your desk. Like, I know everybody listening probably hasn't done it in 10 years since they own the desk. They haven't actually cleaned that motherfucker all the way off. But, spring's in the air, and I know this shit's important to me, so hopefully it's important to some of y'all out there. Clean your shit up. Like, zip tie it, take care of it. It looks so much better, and that's something so little you can do that when you're done, you're like, that's a good feeling. That shit looks good. Like, that was worth it. I mean, that could just be me. I'm kind of anal when it comes to that shit, but I did it over the weekend and really felt good about myself afterwards. So, and if it isn't that, I guess the recommends could be more geared towards that. Find something that would really satisfy you if you had to, like, if you put the 4 to 6 hours of time in and built a small garden outside or built a barbecue pit or fire pits or knitted a sweater or whatever, but actually do something in a condensed amount of time that will really show you some reward that you want at the end of it. It's like if it'll take you 8 hours to knit a sweater that you want or a scarf, do it. Spend that 8 hours in a straight, like, do it. Like, just kind of zen out, meditate a little bit, and get something done. You'll feel good about yourself. Trust me. It's in the human psyche. We're supposed to do that shit right now. We're supposed to be making gardens, and we're supposed to be fucking doing shit right now. We should be hunting and fishing, and it's spring, baby, and we are animals. Anybody who doesn't know that, should. We are. There are cycles to this shit. Just like how the bears know to get up and eat berries right now. We know it's our time to be building huts and shit and storing grain and cutting plants down. We should be doing shit. So get out there and do some shit.
Do some shit, my friends.
Yeah, I recommend you do some shit. I'll condense that. Too long didn't read. Do some shit.
I meant to take care of this at the beginning of the episode, and we'll be sure to touch on it at the beginning of the next episode, just in case.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all have all met our friends from the Dresden Files, and if you haven't started listening to Dresden Files, you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. But now, we are a podcast on a larger network.
Yeah,
The
part
Broken
of
Jars Broadcasting. Because Zelda broke jars, and that's good enough in that game is good enough for us.
that's right.
So you never know, you might find a rupee.
I will just have to correct you though.
What?
Broke the jars.
No, I said if it's good enough for that game.
Yeah, but you said Zelda broke the jars.
Damn it.
Damn it.
I was trying not to do it. really was. But so you can find us at brokenjars.xyz.
Yeah, which is a cool domain. I like it. Instead of .com, it's XYZ. Pay attention to that because we don't know what brokenjars.com is. We didn't probably even check yet. But Broken Jars XYZ is it's really cheap. That's why we did it that way. So look for us there.
Look for us there. I think I've changed everything over. Our Podbean account's still running, so you'll be able to find us there as well. We're going to be bringing new podcasts, and we're going to have some blogs, and we're just going to have
some Twitch channels. We're going to do some collabs.
Shit, man. Like, it's going to be just things.
For all your nerdy, weird, whatever this kind of entertainment is, that's going to be your hub for it. We're going to try to. We're going to try
one of them anyway.
We're going to try to curate a place where you have more than enough entertainment, just like this podcast, which probably won't be good enough for anything. But
well, we're going to try.
Yeah, we're going to do it anyway. Fuck it. Because we want to. And it's fun having control over shit.
It is fun having control over shits. But yeah, so you might need to like redo your subscription via iTunes. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're still there. Come find us. You know, all that cool stuff. Email us. brokenjarsbroadcasting@gmail.com. 42podcast@gmail.com. F42podcast on Twitter. I don't think Broken Jars has Twitter yet, but it will. Yeah, so do things. Talk to us so we can talk to you. And we can make things better.
Awesome. I like it. We got to call it there, Jake?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
Huh. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for coming out to the 42 podcast. And we hope you all have a good night, good morning, good evening, and all those nebulous times in between. Because time is illusion. Lunchtime, doubly so.
Bye. The other trades kind of look out for the other trades, and they kind of work together. If there's an issue and there's a gray area for the demarcation of something from the responsibility of them to me, right?
Right.
If there's a gray area there. It's like, well, you can buy that relay and I can buy that relay. So whose responsibility is it to buy that relay? Like, I understand you can't buy anything on the other side of the relay. That's all me. And I can't work on anything on that side of the relay. That's all you. But we both can put in that relay. So who's going to do it? And how are you going to do it?
And I'm sure you see a lot of you see a lot of the same guys over and over. So you're like, hey, I got you last time, so you get us this time, that kind of deal.
A little bit. There's too many. I mean, Houston's so big.
Yeah, that's true.
It's you have to be working in more of a niche. Like, I see a lot of the same sprinkler guys, and a lot of the guys that put hoods in kitchens. You know, those big vents that suck up. You know, and they have
like industrial kind of kitchens.
Yeah, I work with them all the time. But even then, it's like, you know, I'll do 30 jobs and I'll see the same guy twice. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's not even that normal.
Right. Okay.
But yeah. No, it's just, you know, and then the elevator guys. So if there's an issue like that with the electrician, yeah, I can usually talk to the electrician and they'll talk back, and they kind of, with the elevator guy, he goes, I don't know. That right there, that's where it stops. You need to do this for me. I don't really care how or what you do. That's not, I don't even care, man. And it's just, but I do it in a nicer way than they do it. They do it in like that ain't my job, dude. I don't give a fuck. All right? You figure it out. Call me when it's...
Damn.
Yeah, the guy throws kind of like a fake jab, and McGregor just pushes it down with his hand and comes over the top and just knocks him out.
Just
knocks him out.
Clean out?
Unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. You're like, and it was against the reigning world champion.
I mean,
he was the best before that. And you just knocked him out in 13 seconds. That really says something.
I mean, sometimes you just make that one mistake, you know. Especially at the UFC, man. Like, the angles are so much different because of how the fighting is compared to, like, boxing.
It's true. But McGregor took him out with pretty clean boxing. Like, it was just pretty.
Just
That's the thing that everybody's been saying for years, is that we need a real boxer in here. Even though McGregor's not a true boxer, he's like more of a mixed martial artist. But his boxing is world. He probably could go fight in the boxing ring and do well. He's that good at boxing. And they don't wear boxing gloves.
right.
They wear those little MMA gloves, which are just good enough to protect your knuckles, but not really add any padding. So it's like the damage of bare knuckle without any of the repercussions. See, there's an argument for not letting the fighters wear gloves at all, right? It gives the guys, the grapplers, the guys who want to reach in and grab and like put on chokes and do different things like that. It gives them a lot more. It's a closer representation of combat, right? Because right now they can't really work with. They got like mittens on,
right.
compared to like hands where they could actually grab and interlace fingers and do different things, right? And then it's also not representation of the repercussions of getting hit, or I mean hitting something improperly with bare knuckles.
Right.
If I hit you if you get hit right in the forehead, like if I swing and you just kind of duck your head, I'm doing more damage to myself than I did to you.
Right.
You got a strong, cranial plate right there. Like,
if you're not, I mean, unless you're trained and you just like haul off and hit somebody, you're probably breaking your hand.
Probably gonna break your hand.
Yeah.
Even if you are trained, those people break their hands almost every fight. Like one person at least breaks a hand. They're weak little bones in there. It's not easy. But so there's an argument to actually not wear gloves at all. It'd be a closer representation of real combat, and people wouldn't be able to just swing like Tyson. They wouldn't be able to just throw punches into the head area and make them land. It would be a more, there's an argument about cuts, knuckles cut like elbows, and wearing the gloves, they don't cut as bad. But you also take away the eye pokes, because the way the gloves work is they kind of hold your hands open. They don't. It's an effort to close your hands. So when you get tired, you're just putting your hands in the way, or in somebody's face, you poke them in the eyes just because you didn't close your hand. So I see the argument both ways. I'd personally like to see a little bit of a loosening on the rules of the UFC. It's like, well, they are beating the fuck out of each other. Like, why are we worried about them hurting each other? They're hurting each other already. It's like, let's make this a little bit more closer to like real life. Let's make this
because you don't want to damage your product too terribly. And
That's
for
true.
the UFC, the people
true.
in the ring are the product.
I do think, though, in my highly scientific opinion, I really do believe that there'd be less concussions with no gloves, though.
Oh yes, I mean, but that's that's been proven. That's why boxers. Because you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone else in between, welcome back to the 45th episode of the 42 podcast. And to be honest, I'm going to be really happy we're out of the 40s because it's really redundant in the opening. But as always, to my left, your good friend and mine, Mr. Ryan. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm great, Jacob. How are you, man? What's up?
I can't complain. It's just kind of a day, packed and did that kind of crap.
I've been having a shitty week, dude. God damn it.
What's going on, man?
Just inspections at work, trying to get through them. And if anybody that ever works in the construction field has worked with an elevator guy, they know my pain. Elevator guys, man, they're just so, it seems to me that elevators, like, period, across the board, are union. You're not going to get a non-union elevator guy, which may not seem like a big deal up north, but down here where I'm used to, there's no unions, period, at all. And it's really weird for me to come across that union mindset of that ain't my job. Like, it ain't my job. And they do it so fucking well, it's infuriating. It's so fucking mad, because the way I'm used to working is you kind of scratch each other's backs a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, done. That kind of. It's like, all right, that's what I'll do. I'll call you when I'm done. Fucking asshole.
We've started watching this show called Superstore. It's NBC, I think, and obviously it's making fun of like a Walmart or a Target. the manager's going through like the manager handbook, and it's like what to do if you hear a union, what to do if you think you might have heard union, what to do if you think you might have heard you thought you heard union, what to do if someone accidentally said union.
I guess Walmart would lose their shit if the workers unionized.
Oh, they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, it'd be over.
That's why they pumped they could afford the pay bump, but they can't afford a union.
So, are you excited for this weekend?
Yes.
Yes. The Conor McGregor fights this weekend.
Oh, yes. I don't watch UFC.
Oh, you don't at all?
Not
really.
Even
not even the big fights?
I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. But I'm not gonna go get the pay-per-view. And like if I had friends that were into it, I'd probably watch it more, but I don't really get into it that much. So,
well, you should go eat dinner at one of your favorite bars that has that stuff on. You should go watch it. It's going to be an awesome fight.
Which means it'll end up being done in like 45 seconds. So it's going to get like one good kickoff and it's going to be over.
Funny you say that. The guy who's fighting won the belt in his weight division in his last fight in 13 seconds.